What's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be back making yet another deck profile for you all today. I know it's a bit spotty with me putting out my videos. I've been quite busy with my master's program, with my thesis, with my coursework, and with my projects I've been working on. As such, I'm not able to make as many videos as I would like, but thankfully my semester will be ending very soon. I will use the time between my semester ending and January to be able to study for my board exams and maybe make a few videos every now and then. But once the board exams are done in January, I'll be able to put out a lot more content and be able to make it more consistently. But today I have a pretty cool deck profile for you, and it just got recent support in Darkwing Blast. I know I'm a bit delayed on it. I probably should have put out the video a bit earlier, but extenuating circumstances. That deck profile is For Hire. For Hire got two new pieces of support. They got Rex for Hire, and they got Donna for Hire. It adds a bit more dynamic into the deck now. You're able to play through a little bit more because Rex is a Monster Reborn, plus a Spell and Trap Searcher, so you'll be able to search out your Mayhem for Hire, your Rookie for Hire, and continue your plays. Unfortunately, deck still suffers from the issue that if your first normal summon is negated by an Imperm or an Effect Veiler, effectively your turn gets crippled unless you open a specific extender that might help you. However, Donna really does help the deck because what you can do is if you have Beat plus any other for Hire, you can get out a Philo, and then off of the Philo and the Beat and the third monster, you can go into a Donna, and then you can use the Philo for a Linkaribo, and because you're tributing a Link monster, you're able to actually bring back two for Hires from the graveyard to be able to give you your access into your Fogo very easily. The deck has a really good resource grind loop. They can also get back on their legs if they're ever interrupted, just off of any single card. As long as you can survive for a turn, the fact that Rex now gives you the Monster Reborn or the extender that you need really helps you in the grind game. And their whole resource loop is about making Fogo, and then Raphael, and maybe a Recon or the Scout. Yeah, the Scout's for Hire, basically. And then what you'll do is you'll pop a card during their turn, and because you have three for Hires with different names, Fogo will let you draw 3 cards, and from that draw 3, you're trying to draw into hand traps. And also during your first turn, you're aiming to basically dig out with a Raphael, because you can usually excavate 2 to 3 cards deep. You're trying to aim for there can be only one. And some decks right now can't really handle that. Sprite can't handle a there can be only one, so it shuts down Sprite. It doesn't really help so much against tier, so maybe in a game 2 you would side into even more hand traps, then you can excavate more hand traps, and also get more draws on hand traps using Raphael, or not Raphael, using Fogo during your opponent's turn. Deck has a great resource grind loop. I think it's a very cool deck. It's kind of linear, kind of not. It really depends on your hands, and you gotta make do with what you got. But I really do like the aesthetics of the deck. I'm not a furry, I swear, but I think that the art's pretty cool. I like the fact that they also have different rarities and stuff. I think the Wiz for Hire and Secret Rare looks really nice, and I'm just really excited to be able to play this. They also have some crazy Link plays, and you can actually throw Tri-Brigades in if you wanted to. That was the old build using Tri-Brigades, but you don't need to do that anymore. You can just play it pure. But I keep rambling on, so let's get off into the deck profile. We're going to start off with our For Hires. We're going to be running 3 Beat, 3 Philo, and 3 Rex. Rex is in the new edition. Really great card. Beat doesn't need to be explained. Beat is basically your starter. He's a warrior, so you can search him off of a Rhoda. Philo is your Monster Reborn. You want to usually open a Beat plus a Philo to have combo. If you open Beat plus Philo, you normal summon Beat, activate Beat, summon Philo, then you'll get to search off your Beat, and then you will use the effect of Philo to summon out the other one, which could be like a Seal, and then Philo can trigger a Monster Reborn. It won't trigger the Monster Reborn at that point because you're not trying to do it yet, but your combo actually can be augmented to go Beat, Philo into Rex now, and you can do a lot more. So these are our 3 main For Hires. You definitely want to open Beat. Beat is your grind tool, and he's also the best way that you can search in your deck because he's your searcher. Rex is basically Rex is the newest one. He's really good. He says if this card is normal or special, you can add a spell trap for Hire from your deck to your hand, and then during your main phase, if you control a monster for Hire, You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one card for hire in your graveyard, either add to your hand or special summon it if it was a monster. So basically it's a monster reborn if you have a for hire on board, or it adds back a for hire card, which will allow you to basically keep on grinding throughout the game. So those are the 9 main ones that we run. In addition to those 9 main ones, we run a few more. We run 2 Seal. Seal when he's summoned by the effect of a for hire. So basically it says, during main phase you can special summon 1 monster for hire from your hand. All your for hires have that except for your big 3 for hires. And then what it says is if a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can target 1 monster for hire in your graveyard, add to your hand. So he basically adds back a monster to your hand. Philo. Rex doesn't have that thing where he special summons out another one, but he can add a spell that will summon out a for hire with a different level, 1 higher, 1 lower than Rex. So you can use the spell to transform Rex into Philo or Beat. Philo has the basically Monster Reborn, but the Monster Reborn, when that monster leaves the field, it goes to the bottom of the deck instead. And then Beat is your searcher. He searches a for hire monster. In addition to Seal, we're running 2 Donpa. Donpa is a face-up card pop, and then Recon is a set pop. So we're trying to basically get the Donpa into rotation, or Recon if you know there's a back row deck, and then we want them to pop a card during our opponent's turn to be able to draw 3 off of a full go. We're also running 2 different smaller names. We're running 1 Helmer and 1 Bravo. These are just names, and they also have the ability to special summon for hires, which is kind of important. You just want a critical mass of for hires in your hand. Their effects aren't that great. Helmer basically is a Dark World Dealings almost. It says when a for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can discard 1 for hire card and then draw 1. So it can help you dig into your deck. It's not that great though. And then Bravo is basically a battle trick. It just increases for hires that are currently on the field by 500 attack and defense. However, the levels are pretty nice since Bravo is a level 4 and you also have some other monsters in your deck that are level 4. Like you have a Seal that's a level 4. What you can do is if you just open Bravo Seal, or if you open Bravo Beat, you can basically go into a Abyss Dweller to be able to lock out your tier opponents. So the deck has XZ options. I run the Bravo basically as just another level 4 because we have Seal and Bravo being our 4s, and unfortunately you don't have any other ones in your deck. So I chose to run 2 Seal and 1 Bravo to be able to have that Abyss Dweller line. That finishes off all the small for hires. We have 3 big ones. I run 1 Dynuff hero for hire. He's decent. If this card is special summoned, you can banish cards from your opponent's graveyard up to the number of monsters for hire you control with different names. So you'll usually be able to banish 3, which isn't bad, but unfortunately, you're not going to be doing that during your opponent's turn, so it can't interrupt tier plays. But if you're playing any graveyard reliant deck, what you can do is you can just summon out Dyna and be able to wipe their graveyard. And then also it says that monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters for hire you control for attacks, except this one. So he forces them to attack him. It's not super important, but I like having him in as a name. Then we're running 1 Wiz. Wiz is a condition that allows you to win during time, because what it says is if this card is special summoned, gain 500 life points for each monster for hire you control with a different name. So if you're able to go into time, what you can do is you can cycle through all your for hires, get a whole bunch out, then summon a Wiz to be able to gain life points and win. She's also pretty good because she is a quick effect spell and trap negate by discarding a for hire. And the last for hire monsters that we're running 2 Raphaels. Raphael says if this card is special summoned, you can excavate the top cards of your deck equal to the number of for hires you control with different names, and then you add 1 of those cards to your hand. He's also a monster effect negate by discarding 1 for hire card, which is not bad. It's unfortunate because it doesn't negate and destroy. It negates the activation. So if they have a card that says that you can activate this once per turn, they can try to attempt to activate it again. So that's the only bad part. If it negated the effect and destroyed it, would probably be better. But it is pretty nice being able to go against a tier and being able to do it against the Kick Kalos, because it doesn't negate and destroy, it just negates the Kick Kalos. And that's basically the end of all of our for hire monsters. We have quite a lot. We have, on total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We have 20 for hire monsters. You need a critical mass of them to be able to do anything. But we're going to go off into our spells. Well, the for hire ones anyways. We're going to run 2 rookie for hires. Rookie for hire is pretty nice. You can add it off of Rex. What it says is tribute 1 monster, special summon 1 for hire monster from your hand or deck whose level is 1 higher or lower than the tributed monster that was on the field. You cannot declare tax the turn you activate this card except with monsters for hire. That doesn't really matter. And then you can only activate 1 rookie for hire per turn. It's a hard once per turn, which kind of sucks. If this wasn't, it would be a lot better. It's a quick play also, so you can set this and be able to like swap out into a Donpa or something during your opponent's turn, which isn't bad. Or you can swap a for hire into your opponent's turn, being able to trigger a Donpa, which is better. Other than these two, we're running 2 Mayhem for hire. Mayhem is basically just a monster reborn for hires. You target a monster for hire in your graveyard, special summon in defense position. It's only once per turn, but it's pretty nice being able to have this plus the Rex. It gives you a lot of grind because the Rex will monster reborn and this will monster reborn, so you can trigger off a lot of your for hire effects. We're gonna get off into the more generic stuff now. We're running a 1-for-1. 1-for-1 is pretty good in this deck, being able to summon out Philo. If you have like 1-for-1 plus beat and another for hire, that's combo as well, because you can summon out the Philo off of the discarded monster, and then you can just summon beat and be able to do your combos. We're also running, this is really generic stuff, we're running a Call by the Grave. We get hurt kind of by Ash, but Ghost Ogre really ends our turns. And we also just want to be able to stop effect failure. Unfortunately, you can't really do much about Imperm, because there's not really a way to dodge. You can technically dodge with a rookie for hire, so it's not terrible, but you would rather keep him on the field, whatever you summon, to be able to get their effects. We're running a Monster Reborn, because we need extension, because the deck definitely needs that, and we're running a Rhoda for beat, and we're running an Upstart Goblin to be able to get into our for hires. The Upstart should be a Reasoning. I couldn't find my copy of Reasoning. I've had a few, and I guess I lost them all, but this basically is a Reasoning slot. I don't have Reasoning at the moment, so I'm just running Upstart as a filler slot. Other than that, I'm also running 2 Triple Tactics, because Triple Tactics helps us dig further into our for hires. If our beat gets ashed, Triple Tactics will allow us to basically get a draw 2 and hopefully get into some for hires that we need, or it can help you break a board and be able to stop like a Nibiru or something, because the deck can't really play through a Nibiru either. Then to finish off the more generic stuff, we're also running 3 There Can Be Only One. It's the best trap in the deck that you can run, because of the fact that all your for hires are different typings. Like, Beat is a warrior, Philo is a winged beast, Seal is a beast warrior, if I believe correct. And then the only interactions that you might have an issue with There Can Be Only One is that your Fulgo is a beast, so it can interact, unfortunately, with some of your other ones. It doesn't interact with your boss monsters, though, because your Raphael is a dragon, the Wiz is a spellcaster, and the Dyna's a beast warrior. So you should be fine if you have those on the field. The only time that it interacts, unfortunately, is when you have a Donpa plus a Fulgo. So you want to have the Donpa pop before you activate the There Can Be Only One, otherwise you won't be able to get your draw because you have to send them off the field. That's all of our like generic spells and traps, and then we're running a small lineup of hand traps. We're running 2 Effect Veiler. I like Effect Veiler because it's not a hard once per turn. If you draw into it off of a Fulgo, then you're fine to be able to activate it multiple times. We're running 2 Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's pretty decent, and then I'm running 2 Ghost Mourners because I want more negation for like a Kikalos or like a Sprite Elf or a Gigantic Sprite. These 4 just allow us to get that. On game 2, I'm a little bit iffy with regards to my hand trap ratio. I feel like I need more than 6, but that's all I can afford to run right now with my deck space. On game 2, if I know that they're not affected by there can be only one, I would probably cut the 3 there can be only ones and throw in like 3 Imperm or something. And then I could also cut the Upstart Goblin to be able to throw in maybe like 2 Imperm, 2 Bell or something, or 2 DD Crow. And there's like a lot of stuff that you can swap out. You can also swap out the Called By. Basically, you're just swapping out very generic stuff to be able to get into a more hand trap line. But that finishes off the whole entire main deck. We're running 40 cards. Remember, the Upstart should probably be a Reasoning. I just can't find mine. But we're going to get off into the extra now. To start off the extra, we're going to be running a Linkuriboh. The Linkuriboh is really important in our deck to be able to combo off with the Donner, because we're running 2 Donner. What your whole plan to do is you want to be able to get 3 for hires on the field, one of them being Philo. You use the 2 to go into Donner, and then you use the Philo to go into Linkuriboh. Then you'll use Donner's effect to tribute a Link monster, which is the Linkuriboh, to be able to summon out 2 for hires from your graveyard. They do not summon at the same time though, which is important to note, because what you can do then is you can Donner first summon Philo, and then it will ask you, do you want to do another summon? And then you do that to summon out something else, which actually triggers the Philo because she was out first, which is important to note. We're also running 2 Folgo for a grind game. That's basically like our for hire lineup. These are the 3 really important cards to be able to run in the deck. You absolutely need the Linkuriboh. You would probably want to run maybe 1 or 2 of the Folgo, and then you need the 2 Donners for the grind game. We're also running a Nightmare package in Phoenix and Unicorn, pairing that off with an IP Masquerena. I just think the Nightmares are pretty good this format. Discarding isn't super bad in your deck because you'll usually get so much advantage off of your Folgo. So the Nightmares are fine. IP can be used to go into either the Nightmares, or it can be used to go into an Appaloosa, or it can be used to go into a Boral Sword. IP made Boral Sword is really hard to out because it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be destroyed by battle. So if they don't have any other outs for that, like if they don't have like a bounce or they don't have a banish, most of the time that can win you the game. You could swap Boral Sword for a Crusadia Avermax, because then you can make IP made Avermax and then they can't target it and it can't be destroyed by card effects. But unfortunately it can be destroyed by battle at that point, and if they negate the effect of the Avermax to gain attack, then that's where it gets a bit iffy. Other than that, we're also running a small Tri-Brigade package. We're running 1 Farajit for extension to be able to get our for hires out, and then we're running 1 Shurig. Shurig's a non-target banish, pretty good this format. Also, it floats off into basically any for hire because of the fact that it says if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand, whose level is less than or equal to the number of banished Beast, Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast monsters. Oftentimes, like, you won't have any banished, so the float isn't super important. Sometimes it will be because they will dimension shift you and you're trying to do your plays. So you can have an ad, but oftentimes because you're not playing Tri, that won't get you an ad. The banish is just really nice though. And then the last 2 cards that we're running in the extra deck is we're running a Tornado Dragon, because sometimes you just need an out for back row. And then we're running Abyss Dweller. And Abyss Dweller basically shuts down this format with tier. It really hurts any tier player because of the fact that they can't activate graveyard effects, which basically just ends their turn. But that's the deck profile. I actually want to show you guys like a test hand, for example, so give me 1 second to shuffle this. And I will make some casual conversation while I am shuffling it. For hires are pretty cool. I like the aesthetic of them. I swear I'm not a furry. I swear. Please believe me. I have to make that obliged joke whenever you make a for hire deck profile. For hires have a pretty interesting playstyle with being able to just constantly get out more and more. The only issue is that they kind of lose to Droll, they lose to Shifter because you really want the Monster Reborns, and they lose to DeFi and Macro. Unfortunately, if their normal summon gets hit, you also kind of lose to Imperm, but thankfully you have Advent of Adventure, very similar to like a Flunder, where you're able to swap that out for another for hire. But let's try a test hand. So we got Donpa, Beat, Effect Veiler, triple tacked, yeah, this is a crazy test hand. What you would do with this, it's very simple. I'm not going to go through the whole combo, but I'll give you guys an idea. You're going to normal summon your beat. You don't want the beat to be impermed, unfortunately. If it does, what you're going to do is, well, you can't activate tactics if it gets impermed. If this gets ashed, you can activate tactics. So like, let's say that we go beat, summon out Donpa. Beat effect gets ashed. Okay, now it's ashed. We won't get the search off of that. We're going to activate tactics. Then we're going to go tactics to draw 2. We got recon and we got upstart. Okay, now we're going to activate upstart to draw more. Nice, we got into Philo, and that's the most important card that we want to be able to get into. From here, we would go Donpa effect to summon out Philo, and then I would go Philo effect to summon out Raphael. Then Raphael will be able to dig 3 deep. So we hit 1 for 1, Ash, and Dinah. Based upon this hand, I think we're fine to be able to get the Ash because we want to have more interruptions during their turn. We also have full combo here to be able to continue off with the full thing. So these will go and get stacked on, I believe it's the bottom of the deck now. Yeah, it shuffles the rest back into the deck. So we shuffle the deck. And then what we're going to do, and this is why I was telling you that Linkuriboh is really important, is we're going to link these 2 off. We're going to link off the beat and the Donpa. Or it really depends. So from here, we can leave the Donpa on the field because we want the Donpa to be able to be there for the next turn to be able to pop. So depending upon what their field is, I would honestly go beat Raphael to the grave. Then you would summon out Donner. Then you would link off Philo into a Linkuriboh. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate Donner. Donner's going to tribute the Linkuriboh, and then it's going to summon out your Philo. Then Philo, and then you're going to summon out another monster. What we're going to summon out is we're actually going to summon back the Raphael. Then we're going to trigger Philo's effect, and we're going to summon out the beat. So basically now we're back at full board, and we just kind of comboed off like crazy. The beat will get shuffled back into the deck, unfortunately, because it was summoned back off Philo when it leaves the field. But that's fine right now. We're going to go Philo. We're going to go beat. We're going to put this on the bottom of the deck. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to link off the Donner. And that is going to make ourselves a Fulgo. Then we're going to activate Fulgo's effect. And that's going to be able to special summon us out a for hire with a different type than the 3 monsters that were used for Link Summon. So because we used a Beast Warrior, a Winged Beast, and a Warrior, we can't summon any of those. But that's fine because what we're actually going to be able to summon is we're going to be summoning out... Now here's the thing, you can either summon Rex and then be able to get a monster reborn, but I'd rather summon out actually Wiz. So now, looking at this board, it doesn't seem like much, but what we have here... The hard part is the fact that if you look at this, we have a monster negate, we have a spell negate, and then we have a pop, and we have a draw 3. The only thing that we don't have, unfortunately, in the grave to be able to trigger the Donpa is the Monster Reborn, and we don't have Rex in the graveyard as a Monster Reborn. So we can't really do, like, Wiz is probably not the best in this situation. To end my field, I would probably actually go for a Rex. Pardon the sound, I guess my neighbor's trying to cut wood outside. But we would go for Rex, then Rex effect will be able to add a for hire spell and trap. Then we would be able to go for either we'd be able to go for a Mayhem for hire, or we could go for a Rookie for hire. To be honest, what I would rather do is I would go for a Rookie for hire. Well, it depends on if they have Ash. Because they can't... Man, they're loud with that saw. I'm sorry for the sound outside. Nothing I can do about that. You can basically go Rookie for hire or Mayhem for hire to be able to either Monster Reborn the Philo during their turn to be able to pop with the Donpa, or you can go Rookie for hire to tribute the Rex to be able to go for a beat. Then the Donpa will go off, and then you'll get the pop, you'll get the search, and then what you can do is with the beat, like... With the beat on the field, Rex is now in the graveyard. You can Monster Reborn the Philo and keep on playing. So honestly, I would probably go for Rookie for Hire in this place. Then we're going to basically set the Rookie for Hire, and that's our end board. It doesn't look like much, but it is really powerful going into our opponent's turn. We have a Monster Negate and we have a Pop. That doesn't seem like much at this point, but we also have Ash Blossom and we have Effect Veiler. We also have the Negate for Raphael because we have Recon in hand. So going into their turn, what we're going to do is most likely on like the beginning of the turn, we're gonna go Rookie for Hire, tributing the Rex. Then we're gonna be able to summon ourselves out a, oh boy, where is he? Summon ourselves out a Beat because we can go one level higher or lower. So whenever they summon out something to the field or set a card, we're gonna do that. Then what the Rookie for Hire will do, because we summoned a for Hire, Dampa will be able to pop a card, and then because we popped a card, and we have 3 for Hires with different names, I believe? Yeah, with different names, we get to draw 2 now. Actually, we get to draw 3. So we get a draw of Bravo, we get a draw of Effect Veiler, and a draw of Triple Tax. So now we basically went from 3 cards in hand to 6. And we have double Effect Veiler usage and Ash Blossom. On our follow-up, we have Triple Tax and Bravo, because we're going to be using the Recon for Negate. Now, what we can do is, depending upon their hand, like if they're going for tier plays, then what you would do is you go negate the Kick Kalos Raphael. I would toss the Recon. And then what I can do is basically at the end of the turn, I would actually activate Rex. I would banish it, summon out a Philo, which will trigger the Beat to be able to add. And then off of the add, I would be able to get myself probably a Seal because I want to keep on grinding. And off of that simple board, now we're at this point where we can OTK on the follow-up, and we already have 6 cards in hand. We're in a top deck. We drew Rex. This is basically game. As I said, they have a really insane resource loop, and they also have very good grind game potential. They don't have a lot of interactions, but the interactions that they do have are from the hand mostly, because of the fact that you're trying to turbo out into hand traps. As I said, you can also side a whole bunch more hand traps by cutting out that there can be only ones. It might be good depending upon the build, because I don't think there can be only one is too amazing in this format. It's good against Sprite specifically, but I'm not sure how good it is against Tier at this point. But that's the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll be able to get out another one to you soon, and hopefully my neighbor won't be cutting wood during the whole time. And I'm planning to, with the next deck profiles that I'm going to be doing, I'm planning to do one for Dinos. Dinos, I've recently got myself the Doodle package. I got the Doodle book, I got the Tyrannos and the Stegos. This makes it a lot better being able to run more Petite Pteranodons and also run the True King package. I really do like that. And I'm also currently working on a Metaphyz list. If you guys were looking at my Twitch stream the other night, I was doing some Metaphyz playtesting. I really do like the deck. I think it has a very cool place in this format because you can run 3 Di-Fi, 3 Left Arm Offerings, and 3 Dimension Shifters, which really hurt the format at this point. And then I'm also working on a Dark World deck profile. I bought the 3 structure decks. I'm just waiting to get some extra cards from my friend, and then I'll be able to finish off that deck profile. The cards that I need are like 2 Salamander Catalysts, I think they're what they're called. And then I'm also waiting for Photon Hypernova, and then we're going to be getting ourselves a Spriggans deck list. So I have a lot of stuff planned for the future. I'm also trying to figure out if I can do some collabs with some people. I've been chatting with some people to see what I can do. I'm thinking about trying to get a Speed Duels series started, but I'll have to see how my time goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I'm not going to leave you guys to listen to the wood being chopped in the background anymore, and I'll see you in the next one.